In this part, I want to write a program to read two integer numbers from the keyboard and then compare them and show some appropriate message according to this comparison result. Let me declare the string that I want to print. Instead of this one, number 1 is greater than number 2. Now I don't think this somebody ever so show the prompt number 1 and read this first number show prompt 2 and with the second one. Now I want to compare this to number. My number are inside variable number 1 and number 2, I read them. The remaining part should be changed. OK. In order to compare this to variable, I can use branch. If greater than instruction branch. As you can see, we have different type of branch. If the condition is true, then the control will go to the label. Otherwise it's go to the next instruction. Branch, equal branch if greater than or equal. This is the type of the branch that I need. Branch if greater than it takes 3 parameters. If number 1 which is inside T1 is greater than number 2, go to label. Yes. So if number 1 is greater than number 2, the control will go to the label. Yes. Otherwise it will be here and here. It means that number 2 is greater than number 1 or number 1 is less than number 2. Assume that they are not equal. So here I have to print the second message or second result. This one. Result number 2. In order to print a message, I will use this system called and change it to resolve to. And after we print this message, we should go to the end of the program. We need a jump here. The end of the program. I will put a label in the end of the program. I name it N1. This is the label. Yes. If number 1 is greater than number 2, the control goes to this part and escape this message. Otherwise, we print this message and skip this part. So by this we create if else a structure in MIPS assembly. Here I want to print result 1. And this is the end one. So let's check it again. We read through a number and then we compare them. This is number 1. This is number 2. I put them inside $sign to $1.92. If the number 1 is greater than number 2, we will jump to the yes label and we print this result. One message, which is a number 1, is greater than number 2 message. But if number 1 is not greater than number 2, we will come to this part. We print the message or result 2 and we should skip this part. Therefore, I use a jump in instruction here to skip this part. We want to only run this part and escape this part. We have to use this jump instruction in this life. Let's check it. In third. The first number 15. The second number 20. Number 1 is a smaller than number 2. It's correct. We set it and we run it now. 10 and 5. Number 1 is greater than number 2. In this part, I want to write a program to read an integer number from the keyboard and determine that the number is positive, negative, or 0. So this is an example which I use, if-else if a structure. Let's see, how can we implement it in MIPS assembly language? I want to modify the existing graph. Let me save it with another name, so that this prom, 2. I want a message positive, another message negative, and the last message, 0 for big time. I don't need number 2 anymore. Well, so we print the prompt 1 and read 1 number and put it inside number 1 variable. Okay. We don't need this part anymore. Okay. Here, I load my number 1 variable inside registered $1 or 20. I should check this number with 0. If it is greater than 0, it means that the number 1 is positive. If it is less than 0, it means that the number 1 is negative. And if it is none of the positive or negative, it is 0. And I should print the appropriate message. So let's check it. Branch greater than my number with 0 in order to check with 0. You know that we have a 0 register which is hardwired to 0. So it is always contain 0. If it is greater than 0, go to the P1. But if it is not greater than 0, it can be less than 0 or equal to 0. Again, branch less than branch if less than if my number which is inside the registered $. To 0 is less than. Go to the label and 1. If it is not positive or negative, it should be 0. So here is the place that I should print 0 message for print message. I should use these 3 lines. The system call. System call number for the start of death of the message inside the registered $, a 0. And execute system call, and I should jump to the end of the program and skip the other part. I name it N1. Here we can put one of the P1 or N1. I assume that I want to put P1 here in the P1. We should print the positive message. Positive message is this one. So again, I need a system call for printed string, and the name of the string is horse, and jump to the end 1. And here is the label N1. Name this one, Nick. And Nick is the keyword. So let me use Nick1. And this is the end1 label. So let's check that together. We read the number and then we put it inside. $90. Check the number with 0. If it is greater than 0, we come to the P1 and print positive message and go to the end. If it is not greater than 0, we should check this one. If it is less than 0, we come to the end 1 and print this message. -1 message. And finally, If it is not greater or less than 0, we come to this line and we print 0 message. And we come to the end. Jump to the end. In the first number 5, the number is positive. We set your program and run it again. -8. The number is negative. We set it again. Thank you for watching this video and see you later.